This is Allison Rapp, and I'm here today with Donna Blank, who's going to be talking with us about her workshop at the Feldenkrais Conference in 2013 called Emergent Knowing. Donna, I would love to hear from you what this workshop's going to be about.
Thank you. Well, I think this workshop has been a long time in coming for me. That's what I would say first. And it has something to do with learning about the way I work and finding a voice for that that's a little different than the way I've talked about it as a trainer and the ways I've heard other people talk about it. So the first thing is this is a workshop for experienced practitioners. So all of us who've practiced at least 5 years, let's say, know so many patterns. We've honed a craft. There's no end to the craft. But what I'm really interested in is the aspect that's not so much about the craft. It's what actually happens in a lesson. And I want to focus this on FI, although I think this is also true for teaching ATM, but I think it's clearer in FI. So as we are actually with another person in FI, there is more than our craft that comes into the room. And it has to do with the relationship, which we don't talk as much about in our work. I think Moshe pointed towards this when he said that this work was about the dance between two nervous systems. I think he also pointed towards it in the question, what is the right lesson for this person in this moment? Well, this workshop is about finding our way to that knowledge. And I think that it has to do with how we become present, how we prepare our own ground, how do we enter into that kind of state and relationship where our knowledge and our craft actually comes forward, but not because we're thinking about it, not because we're trying to make something happen, but because actually from that state we step back and we step into really not knowing what it is that needs to happen here. And when we become comfortable in that state of, I really don't have the slightest idea in this moment, but I really know how to sit here in my own presence with myself and let all of that come up, my anxiety, my question, but I don't act on it. I just sit there in my own presence and invite that in the other person. This workshop is about how we can do that in a very alive and practical way.
Donna, it sounds like this is going to be a really incredibly intense journey for people, an adventure inward. What I'm wondering is if you would say a few words about how it might look to any given practitioner's clients when they come home. How will it change how they are with those clients?
Well, the first thing I'd say is that the change will happen first in the practitioner. And the change in the practitioner will be felt by the client. And that really all of this happens through the felt sense. That's particularly nonverbal. So I think that people will come away with an introduction to a process of how to become present in themselves as a practitioner, well, as a human being first, right? Which is really not different than being a practitioner, in my view. And that's what I came to in my own work. When I stopped thinking of myself as a practitioner, as an assistant trainer, as a trainer, and I simply sit with somebody in this kind of presence, what comes from me and from that person is an utter surprise. And almost always feels like it's going down the right track. So what I hope people will take away from this, from the workshop, is the beginning of very practical ways of coming into this kind of presence and sitting in this state where we take a step backward and begin to open up an unknown space for something new to emerge that will lead to action. by itself. And how that happens for each person will be quite individual, and I want to honor the individuality of it. I've done a lot of training where I've seen this emerge in different people in different ways. There's something common about it, and there's also our individuality. That's why there's a little bit of a paradox in this, and you have to come and experience it to know what this feels like.
Well, I hope that everyone comes and experiences it, because I know that you've gotten amazing results with your clients, and I know that a lot of it is from the work that you've done on yourself. So I really am looking forward to seeing you, and hope that everybody comes and takes your workshop.
Well, I hope so too, and I look forward to seeing you and everybody else there, and I hope we have a great time.